This video is sponsored by Tailor Brands. More on them later. What is it that you know you need to do that you want to do, but for some reason or another, you've been holding back? For some reason or another, you just haven't been able to gather your nerves or work through the procrastination, putting it off, justifying or blaming. For some reason or another, you just haven't done it. And you know you ought to do this. You really want to do this, but you don't know why you haven't done it. First of all, we know this is not easy. To begin reinventing your life, you've got to make a conscious, deliberate, and determined effort. You've really got to put all of yourself into it. It's very challenging. At times when you're looking at it, you might say, I know I need to do this, but I don't feel like it. I don't want to do it. I know I need to do it yet. Leave me alone. No, I don't want to do it. So what do? What are those things that cause us to feel like that? I think that among the things preventing us from acting is the fear of failure. If you've already failed, you don't want to fail again. The pain of that, the disappointment. The fear of loss is another factor. Many times when we do those things we know we need to do, we feel we might lose someone we love very much and care about. We don't want to hurt anybody. Many of us don't act because we want other people's approval. We want everybody to like us and accept us, but that's not possible. Many of us don't do the things we want to do or act because of a lack of self-confidence. We don't believe enough in ourselves. I have a friend who's been working at a job where she's miserable. She's talented and wants to go somewhere she can do what she loves and make the kind of money she deserves. She's even had some offers, but because of her fear and lack of self-confidence, thinking things might not work out, she won't take a chance on herself. So there she is, spending 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, miserable. She hates going to work. They're not paying her what she's worth, and she knows it. But yet, and still, she won't do what she knows she must do. It's wearing her out. A lot of people's jobs are making them sick because they won't act. Check out the absenteeism. Look at the people who are depressed, angry, or resentful. I have another friend. This guy's brilliant. He's a business consultant and has helped a lot of people start their businesses. People come to him because they know he's knowledgeable. But this guy won't start his own business. He's very smart. He can do it. Everybody believes in him except him. And he's so smart, he's talked himself out of it. He'll say, the numbers aren't right. There are many reasons why we don't act. Another factor is the unwillingness to take personal responsibility. We want someone else to do it. Many times we pick up our inability to act from people we love, admire, or identify with. We unconsciously live within the context of their ideas, opinions, and life patterns. For example, my mother is a pack rat. She keeps everything, doesn't throw anything away. And unconsciously I pick that up. Many times we try to honor the people we love by being like them. By the same token, I realized something about myself. When I had some major decisions to make, I found myself acting like my mother. My mother's the kind of person who, when she has a problem with one of the foster children she's adopted, won't confront them. She'll call me. Liz, why don't you tell Linda to move? She's lazy. She won't go to work. She runs the street all day and then comes home and sleeps all day. I think she's doing drugs. I'll say, Mama, why don't you tell Linda that I bought the house for you? I told you when she wanted to come home, don't let a grown person come here for you to take care of them. She'll say, well, after all, she's my child. I'll respond, Mama, then you handle it. But when I tell her to leave, she'll say, Mama said I can stay. So Mama hasn't developed the courage to act. Some people won't act until there's a crisis. When Linda started stealing from Mama and took her Social Security check to buy drugs, Mama got the courage to say, get out of here and don't ever come back. But it took a crisis. We don't have to wait until there's a crisis. Yet some people do. Some people have to hit rock bottom before they rise. I don't know why, but you should begin to look at your life and what you want for yourself. What does it take for us to act? Sometimes events inspire us to act. For example, a friend of mine wanted to do something, but he didn't have the motivation, drive, or confidence. Then overnight, his circumstances changed, his company was acquired, and he lost his job. Through the inspiration of desperation, he had to act. Life can inspire us, but sometimes it forces us, and that's what it takes, courage. It takes guts to do what you know you need to do. If you don't have the courage, life will move on you and make you act. Life will whoop your butt so bad you'll say, yes, I will do it. What do you want me to do? Take me. A friend of mine said, I can't stop smoking. I can't stop smoking. The doctor told him, Sam, you have emphysema. Sam never picked up another cigarette. Now he looks at smokers and says, look at those stupid people smoking. Sam, you did it for 35 years. How can you talk about people? Well, I'm different. I'm trying to help them. So I'm saying, look at something in your life. Maybe it's as simple as writing a letter to someone to say thank you. Or maybe it's apologizing to someone. For example, I had a confrontation with a security guard at the Penobscot building. He responded to me negatively, and we argued. I handled it. I avoided the front door for a while to avoid facing him. Eventually, I decided to act. I approached him and said, I want to apologize for how I handled our argument the other day. I was wrong. I hope you'll accept my apology. He said, I do. And I said, thank you very much. I felt relieved. Now, when you decide to act, it's not always going to be like that. Are you gaping about how to kickstart your business idea with a whiff of creativity? Guess what? It's easier than ever. Imagine an AI-driven one-stop shop for your startup or business idea, a full package of what you need without any hassle. Sounds extraordinary, right? Well, you don't need to imagine this anymore. Tailor Brands has turned this imagination into a reality. Get ready to ace the game of incredible merch designing and build your website with your preferred domain in the blink of an eye, quite literally. Isn't it a complete pack to boost your business toward great heights of success? Why waste your forms to get the job done when Tailor Brands can serve you with all the necessary aspects in one place? Let's enter the name and tagline. Let's choose the type of logo we want. It'll take just a few seconds to load. So from all the nice logos generated, we're selecting this one. What we need next is a domain. I'm searching here to see whether the domain name successbusters.com is available. Yeah, it is. Let's create the website using their automatic website builder tool. Yeah, I like that theme, so let's go with it. Phew, that was fast. Here I'm creating a digital business card, and that was fast too. I'm also going to create some merch for the store. These are looking cool. The logo goes so well with the merch. So here comes the best advantage of Tailor Brands. You can easily start the process of forming an LLC in just minutes. Here we go. That was a lot faster than expected. I recommend you check out Tailor Brands if you're someone who wants to take action on your business ideas. You've got to give it a try. Tailor Brands, yes, try it for free. If you like it, you can use the link below for a limited time, 20% off discount on Tailor Brand plans. See, many things we don't do are because we want people to like us. There are some necessary losses in life. When you decide to act in your best interest, you're going to lose some friends. Everybody's not going to approve of you. Some people won't like you. Who do you think you are? You're arrogant. What do you think you can do? You think you get away with that? You're selfish. Thanks, I got that. And so what? What I'm saying to you is this: as you begin to look out at your life, this is challenging. This is not easy. Acting is not easy. So what are the things that we can begin to do to harness our will? Number one, you've got to bring it out and look at it. You've got to take the power out of it. You've got to expose it to the truth. And the truth is that it has no power over you. Write down something you want to act on, but for some reason have been holding back. Look at it. The next thing is to ask yourself the question, is it helping you to continue putting it off? If it's an asset for you to procrastinate, then continue to do that. But if it's a liability, if it's causing you some mental and emotional challenges or perhaps a financial problem, look at that. Examine it for what it is. Next step, ask yourself what's blocking you. What's preventing you from acting? Why don't you have the courage to handle that? Why won't you face it? What are you running away from? What kind of avoidance behavior are you engaging in? Next, what is the worst thing that can happen when you take action? So I looked at that and I said, what's the worst thing that can happen when I tell him this? He can say, I don't like you. And he did. Now what happened? I experienced that. I looked at it. I saw it. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I didn't die. My feelings were hurt a little bit. I lost some sleep over it. And sometimes I think about it when I drive past his house. But I'm still here. It's uncomfortable, but it's okay. It doesn't bother me anymore. I've gotten used to it now. So what is the worst thing that can happen? I want you to visualize that, experience that. Feel the nervousness and discomfort. And the more you run it in your mind, the less power it will have. Next, how will you feel after taking this action? When we look out on our lives, ask yourself the question, what are you going to do? As you think about this, knowing you need to handle it, ask yourself, what are you going to do? Then write down 3 strong reasons why you know you must take action. Be explicit and descriptive in your reasons because your reasons have power. Your reasons will drive you when you have doubt. When your faith becomes weak, your reasons will fortify your faith. When you have that inner conversation saying, no, don't do that, your reasons will become your rod and staff to comfort you, to take you through those challenging moments. Write down your reasons. What you will find is that when you decide to act, when you decide to take life on, it can be painful. Let me warn you, it will be uncomfortable. And that's where the growth is. When you're uncomfortable, when you're stretching out, when you're taking life by the collar, you're going to get thrown to the ground again and again and again. But when you have determination and you know that what you're doing is right, it gives you your light. It gives a special meaning and power to you. You'll discover some things about yourself that will begin to electrify your personality. You'll begin to discover some things about you that you don't even know you've got when you put yourself in that type of challenging situation. So I started talking to other people. I would ask them what they were doing, and I'd say, but is that your passion? They would say no. I'd say, then what's your real passion? And they'd tell me what their real passion was. Then I'd say, well, why aren't you doing what you really want to do? Oh, I can do it, but... And they would continue on. So this word, but just kept on coming up. And it has some friends like Walda, Kulda, and Shulda. One day I'm going to have my own business. Those people who talk about one day, How is it that many times we block ourselves? We use these words like we're in a trance, like we're sleepwalking through life. We find ways to cancel out our dreams. I think, but is a dream killer. A lot of things we want to do, places we want to go, and experiences we'd like to have, we just stop at but. We build a case around it. In fact, I was reading something the other day that said, but is an argument for our limitations. And when we argue for our limitations, we get to keep them. See, but will cause you to procrastinate, but will cause you to hide behind fear, but will give you all kinds of excuses to validate your inaction, to justify not acting on your dream. Right now, more than ever, people need to look for ways to live their dreams. People need to look for ways to make it on their own. There's no such thing as job security. There's no such thing as a storm-proof or tragedy-proof life. There are no guarantees today, ladies and gentlemen. The illusion is gone. There was a time when we graduated from high school, we were told to go to college, get out, and work for a corporation for 30 or 40 years, then get a gold watch and retire. Special announcement, that day is gone. That day is gone, never to return again. So instead of people living in fear, feeling stressed out, powerless, or like victims, I think it should be a time for us to begin looking at ways we can become an active force in our own lives. Look at ways we can decide to take charge of our own destiny. Look at ways we can design a life of substance and begin to truly live our dreams. It's time for people to say, I'm ready to get on with my life now. A lot of people say, I'm going to live my life one day when things get right, when I get all my bills paid, when I get my feet on the ground. But see, there are no problem-free moments. There's always something there to build a case on why you can't move on, why you can't grow to the next level, why you can't begin to manifest your greatness, why you can't life on your terms. There's always something there to block you, to keep you where you are, and to prevent you from developing your true greatness. There's always some fear. So how do we handle it? I'm saying if you've been hiding out behind excuses, if you've been using the fact that you don't have enough money or education, take it head on. Go get the education. I was speaking to a man the other day. I asked him, how old are you? He said, 47. I said, your sister tells me you can't read. He said, that's right. I asked, why? He said, well, I didn't go to school. Excuse me, how old are you? 47. And you can't read or write? Yes. Have you ever heard of adult school? Adult education? Have you decided to learn how to read to expand your world? Why are you using that as a crutch? Why don't you decide now to expand your world? If other people can learn, you can learn too. He said, well, it's hard for me. I asked, have you sat in a class yet? Have you signed up? No, I haven't. See, a lot of people say no to things and they don't even know what they're saying no to. They haven't even challenged themselves. This man hasn't even gone to sit in a class and say, teach me how to read. Instead, he's gone through life trying to play a con game, pretending he knows how to do something he doesn't know how to do. You know what? Most of us go through life like that. Most of us go through life pretending that we're satisfied where we are, pretending everything is okay, pretending we don't have special goals, ambitions, or desires. But deep down inside, we do want more. If you look at our behavior, if you judge us based on what we do, it will tell you the truth about us. Because you have to judge a tree by the fruit it bears, not the fruit it talks about. A lot of people pretend they want more out of life, but if you watch their actions, that tells you everything. People will say, oh yeah, one day I want to have a restaurant, but they're pretending. They're not serious. How can you tell? Watch their actions. The proof is in the pudding. If you want to do something, if you've thought about doing something, take it head on. Decide you're going to start looking at it, start researching it, start tackling it. Start becoming involved in whatever it is. Begin exploring the possibilities in that particular thing you're seeking. Learn all you can about it. Decide you're going to face it. Whatever shortcomings you have, strengthen yourself. Whatever training is required, go get that training. Start right now. George Washington Carver said, do what you can where you are with what you have, and never be satisfied. Bucky Fuller said, and I know you've heard Joe Dudley talk about it, always strive to be more than that which you are. Don't get satisfied with yourself. Know that wherever you are, you can enjoy more, you deserve more. But most people, they go through life quietly, safely, tiptoeing to an early grave. Find out what it is you want, and go after it as if your life depends on it. Why? Because it does. People who have found their passion, the things they love, the things they pour their lives into, those people live longer. I was in New York doing a seminar at a church led by Reverend Johnny Youngblood. I asked him, how were you able to build this housing facility and bring together various community and religious groups to provide a home for 2,000 people who were once homeless? Wasn't it overwhelming? He said, the kind of work I do, it's in me. I've got to live what's in me. And that's what life is about. You've got to live what's in you. Life is too short and unpredictable. But what do we say? There's always tomorrow. No, there's no guarantee you'll show up tomorrow. A lot of people who were here yesterday aren't here today. A lot of opportunities that were around yesterday aren't here today. You can wait, but as Abraham Lincoln said, good things come to those who wait, but only the things left over by those who hustle. The leftovers. So, take it head on. Begin to explore. Here's something else. Decide to do it now. Decide whatever you want to do. You're going to become actively involved in it right now. Explore the possibilities. Do a little bit of it right now. When I decided to become a speaker, I didn't just quit my job and declare I'm a motivational speaker. No. I decided to start by looking at others in the speaking profession. I volunteered to work with speakers so I could learn. Whatever you want to do, get your feet wet, gain experience, do volunteer work in that area. Find out whether the thing you want to do is really a fit for you. A friend of mine once told me he wanted to own a restaurant. I asked, have you ever operated a restaurant? No. Then you don't even know if you want one. What's your expertise? What do you bring to the table? I can cook really well. Okay, but what about management? What about the business side? You're not going to be cooking all the time. Someone has to manage the personnel, handle the money. Who's going to do that? He said, you've got a point. So, he got a part-time job in a restaurant to gain experience. After a while, he said, you know what? I think I just want to be a chef. See, you've got to find out what fits you. You might discover that what you thought you wanted isn't what you want after all. John H. Johnson said something profound. There's no defense against excellence that meets a pressing public need. Whatever you decide to do, figure out what you can bring to the table to ensure your success.